Good morning. 11 o'clock, Saturday morning. February 24th, 2024. February 24th, 2024. Mute desktop audio. I've got my audio confirmed. And that one's muted. There's a couple people in Zoom. I'll bring you in pretty soon. Got somebody knocking at my door. Gotta go away. Not talking to you now. I'll pop out chat. Today, yeah, I'm a little late because I want to look through the peephole to see who is at my door. If it was one of my neighbors, I would have answered the door. But no, it was some door-to-door people wanting something or other. No, thank you. Who was that? That was John Williams. Okay, let's go bring in Zoom. Let's see. I'll turn on my video for Zoom. Oh, that got messed up. I tested my video earlier and it was okay. See how light that is? So to fix that, I come over here to Logitune and find that camera. I think it's this one. Let's see if I go over here and try. What happened to the zoom? Usually there's a zoom right at this level that I can figure out which camera it is. All right, let's try auto white balance. Nope, wrong camera. Is it this one? Oh, there's the zoom. Yeah, that's the right one. As soon as I brought this one up on screen, the setting got fixed. All right, then I'll turn on my microphone so they can hear me through Zoom. So now they can mute their YouTube. And then I'll switch the audio so it comes through and turn on desktop audio. Oh, you guys didn't hear the speaker bot earlier. And there's the Zoom session. So it's full screen. Hello, Alex.
Hello, Doug.
Hey. Do you have any comments to start us off with?
I have a little bit.
And it sounds like you might have won a little bit. So before we go into that, I'll go say hello to Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Doug.
You got anything today?
Nope, just
speaker bot working.
All right. And John just tested speaker bot, so now they should have been able to hear that. Okay, so Alex, what's going on?
My well, to update you on my church's internet situation, church's Wi-Fi situation. I finally got approval from the church and my mom to go ahead and purchase the equipment. So the majority of the equipment will be in today by 2 o'clock Central Time, my time. But I'm still waiting on one last piece because all the equipment that will be delivered today is, of course, being delivered by Amazon. The one piece that ties everything together, the software controller that ties everything together, is being delivered by UPS. So it won't be here till Monday.
All right.
So got to wait on that. But other than that, I don't know actually when they're planning to run all the cables to actually hook everything up. But there's that. And then I finally broke down and got my grandma. I went to my grandma's money, so I finally we went to Walmart and I finally broke down and decided to get her a new router, because about every time I went over there, it seemed like I'd have to unplug her router and plug it back in, and it was like 10 years old. So I finally gave up on it.
All right.
And the new router, I can connect to an app on my phone, so I can always see whether it's online or not.
Okay. After replacing the router for your grandmother, have you been back again after that to see if to confirm that you don't have to restart it again?
I have not physically been back.
Okay.
But I can verify that on the app, because it'll send the app a notification every time like a new device joins the Wi-Fi that's never been on there before. or anything, and it lets me see how long the router's been up from my phone remotely, so I can see like how long it's been connected to the internet, so I can.
Okay.
I can,
Got it. Got it. All right. Let me go over look, check into chat. Brian Lightfoot started out. Litfoot? Is that what I was going to say? Lightfoot, did you know that Saturday and Sunday are the strongest days of the week because all the other ones are weekdays? My boss asked me to work on Saturday. I said I'll probably be late because traffic will be so bad. He asked how late I would be. I replied that I might not make it in until Monday morning. I get the way you're doing it. John, I don't have to be at work until January 30th, 2080. My car's in the shop. Dennis, brand new Windows 11 installation, latest and greatest NVIDIA driver GeForce experience, and a new Fortnite install. Highlights work on this with this setup. Installed NVIDIA app beta, still hit or miss. Dennis was having some frustrations recently with his GeForce experience because when you kill somebody, when you kill an opponent, it's supposed to make a clip of that. And I think that's what was not working for him. Hopefully that'll be better. Although,
did he check the firmware on the new router?
Okay, John Williams is asking Alex, did you check the firmware on the new router to see if there's any updates?
yes, I did. Actually, TP-Link routers prompt you to automatically prompt you to update the firmware as soon as I set it up.
All right.
Out of the box. So I did. It got the latest firmware.
All right, continuing in chat. Jonathan saying, hello people, John Williams. On my desktop, I tried to download Windows 11. It stopped saying there was an error, so I did a download to my laptop. It worked perfectly. Why is that? Well, because something's wrong with your desktop. All right, let's try to get a little bit more informative on that, huh? On my desktop, I tried to download Windows 11 and it stopped saying there was an error. So is that a Windows 10 computer currently and you're trying to upgrade it? Check the status of your hard drive. Like you could use Crystal Disk Info. It's my favorite for that. And don't just look to see that it has green, ready, and okay. Got to look at the detailed numbers. Anything that's not a non-zero number, read what that item is. If it's if it's indicating some kind of an error condition, then you might need to replace that. Do you have enough disk space? Would be one thing. What was there? It stopped saying there was an error. Was there any more detail about the error? Was there an error number? Can you send me a photo of that or screenshot? Oh, let's see. Other people will be chiming in chat with some other ideas there for John Williams. Chris says maybe try again on the desktop. Try a different way of downloading from a different link. Were you trying to do the media creation tool? If so, try downloading an ISO tool and use, was it Revo? No, that's not an installer. What's the one that creates image?
It's a Win 11
disks?
desktop and my laptop is Win 10.
It's a Win 11 desktop. Okay, so why are you trying to download Windows 11 on a Windows 11 computer? I'm sure there's Rufus, thank you, Jonathan and Sam. That's what I meant to think, and just having a senior moment. Of course, that's kind of like most of my moments. Chris to John, maybe try it again on the desktop. Already saw that. Mike Wojcik, hello. Luis, Cool Hill, if I'm remembering right. To John Williams, there are too many different reasons for download failures to list. Maybe the same problem that caused the ATT outage. It was Windows Media Creation Tool I was trying to create on a flash drive. Try again later this week. So it could be a problem with the flash drive.
For a media creation flash drive for a new build.
Okay, I see that, and that's what I'm seeing that you're explaining right there. It's a media creation flash drive. So back here he said, so I did a download to my laptop. It worked perfectly. So did it create the installation media on that same USB drive using your laptop, or it failed to create the installation media on that same USB flash drive from your Windows 11 desktop. In which case, some issue with a USB port, but don't know if that's the answer yet. There's some new commands in SpeakerBot.
Same flash drive.
Same flash drive, he says. So yes, the same flash drive on the laptop, successful for the media creation tool from a Windows 10 laptop. Why did it not work on Windows 11? Don't know from that much. Maybe try it again. Dennis, my situation down at end of chat came in. My situation, hardware is the same. Highlights work with the original GE Force Experience. Do not work with the beta software. FYI, I use Rufus to install Windows 11. The hardware has Gen 1 Ryzen. So I think he's addressing two different issues there. The GE Force Experience didn't work with the beta software. Well, beta is called beta for a reason, so maybe it's just not working for you. Topics 4, 5, and 6, Jonathan asked for. Well, I'm laughing at that because I think those are the only topics I have. Reinstall Virtual Box on Big Beast build. I turned a couple times to go look at how to do that again. Last time I did that, you guys walked me through it. I'd be happy to do that again. This one is a story and this one is a story, so those two are pretty quick. People saying hellos to each other's. Selden, CFW. Trying to pick up the names I haven't seen yet. AVDVR okay. SpeakerBot, I'm not going to read. I hope that doesn't hurt his feelings. What happened to Thursday's show? Thursday's show, I just wanted a day off. Oh, you know, actually more to the point, what happened is I put in a chat message that I wasn't going to have a show on Thursday, but I put that in on Wednesday and it disappeared by the time you guys were looking at it on Thursday, so you didn't see my message. It was just a Ferris Bueller moment. I just wanted to take the day off from it. I did do the Fortnite show in the morning because that's an easier thing to do. SpeakerBot was not working because you didn't hear it before I unmuted desktop audio. Scanning. Saw that already. Arnold Albert was in there somewhere. I don't think I said his name yet, so hello to you. For immediate
I seen your
creation
cancellation
website.
message.
John saw the cancellation. All right. What I need to do is pin that. If I pin it in chat, it'll stay there for you to see the next day. And I didn't do the cancel thing. In the past, I've scheduled it for the day that I'm going to skip and put the canceled thumbnail and titled it as canceled. This time I didn't do that. I just scheduled for Friday and used the regular thumbnail. So you wouldn't have received any notifications for Thursday. Read that already. Non-supported CPU. Did I skip Sam's? Oh, the hardware is Gen 1. Oh, that's not the non-supported CPU. Got it. Yeah, so use Rufus and tell it to bypass the hardware validations, bypass the restrictions. And Israel says, where? I don't know what that's about. And Israel, where? Don't know. Who's he talking to? Somebody knows. Dennis has 3 other computers with qualified Ryzen chips. You got 4 computers. Good grief. So, stories here. 2 recently purchased server drives. Some of you already know what drives I'm talking about. These 2.5-inch SAS drives came in yesterday. This morning, I bought 4 of them. I only took 2 of them to my client's office this morning. And I swapped them in, and Dell Open Managed told me they're not working. And I had a orange flashing light. The original drive that OpenManage tells me it's impending failure, it still works. It's online. It shows as online, and it works. These don't work at all.
You didn't get this from eBay, did you, Doug?
No, they're Amazon. They're Amazon. I'll be able to return them, but I'm
Did they
gonna
come from a third party or directly from Amazon?
third party. These are refurbished drives because they're so old. So they're Amazon's. I don't think is going to sell those, but yeah, it's a third party. These are so rarely and probably rarely purchased. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they just take these drives from lease return servers and maybe wipe them and then send them out without. But no, if they put them in a machine at all, they're going to report that they don't work. So I don't know. That was disappointing. Yeah, I did take some pictures. I have a little bit of video of my attempt to bring those up this morning and what it looks like in Dell OpenManage, which is a web-based utility. Then this failing SSD custom computer, I also have photos and story for that. And that was in the same office. Let's come over here and go find those pictures. Hopefully they have uploaded to my iCloud. This will get us into the pictures for both of those situations. I accidentally clicked to go into my brother's iCloud again. There. And I get a prompt on my phone to confirm that it's me.
How many
Allow.
drives does that server handle?
The server has 8 drive bays. We're using 2 drive bays for the boot drive, so they're mirrored. And we're using 3 drives for the data drives, and they are RAID 5. So we have some open slots. And you'll see that here in a moment. Let's figure out where I want to start the photos. I might as well start from the beginning of these. Let's see, I guess I'll start from, yeah, here I connected remotely to this, the computer, the custom built computer. The client wanted me to prepare this computer for a new staff member to use. And I've looked at, yeah, the only way I can make these full screen is to actually download them. I think this is viewable enough. So this says good and 94%. You see this number of hours. Let's see, power on hours, 64,571. And I think I did the math on that. I think it came out to 7.5 years, but the computer has not been on all that time. I'll show you in a little bit how old this computer is. It is a custom build, but down here, raw read error rate. That is a non-zero number. And then looking down to, let's see, there's power on hours. This is difficult for me to read. Unexpected power loss number, not too worried about that. Where range data, then down here, this one. Reported uncorrectable errors. Is that? No, that one just shows a C. Here, this one. On the fly ECC.
Can you magnify, please?
Uncorrectable. The only way I can magnify that is to download it. So yeah, I'll go ahead and download it. Because if I just try to zoom in, well, I'll show you what happens. Okay, so here I'm gonna zoom in. I'll actually show you the zoom setting. So here's the zoom setting. If I do plus, it gets smaller. Plus again, it gets smaller. It gets smaller, smaller. And these thumbnails down at the bottom are getting bigger. So in iCloud, it's a backwards kind of thing. I probably ought to just go ahead and download all of those. I'll just go download the whole series of pictures and video. So here's the whole bunch of them, 29 selected.
There's a
Speaking
slider
about
in the
power
web page.
off, Doug, since you mentioned that on that picture, I had something strange happen the other day. My power flickered, my light in my room flickered, but at the time it flickered, I was watching a video on my TV on YouTube, and the TV didn't go off, the internet didn't go off at all, but the computer did go off, and the computer's plugged into a surge protector, and the TV's not. How strange is that?
Okay, I was a bit distracted because you took me a different direction, and I was trying to focus on this. You said some device powered off and the other device did not. Is that what you said?
The other day my lights flickered in my bedroom,
Right.
and I had a YouTube video going.
Does
on
the
my
house
TV
have three-phase power?
At the time, the internet never cut off, the TV never cut off, but the computer completely shut off. But what's strange about it is the computer is plugged into a surge protector, and the computer and router is plugged into a surge protector, but the TV is just plugged into a normal power strip.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that some devices are more tolerant of a very, very brief power fluctuation.
Yeah.
And a good quality power strip maybe is more sensitive to that, and it's going to protect your computer. I'm not sure. I haven't researched that. Ran Israel asked, does the house have three-phase power?
I don't know.
Yeah,
this house was built in the 60s.
Yeah. Three-phase power. Does that just mean that there's a ground circuit coming through to the outlets? I'm not sure how to identify that. Savi Menor says you can buy new ones from eBay. Oh, for that SAS drive? Really? They're made new? All right, I'll look at that. Thank you. Most U.S. homes have two-phase power. The outage might have been only on one of them, according to Selden Ball.
But it only affected my computer. Nothing else was affected.
That means there are 3 power circuits coming from the power company.
All right, 3 power circuits coming from the power company. Ryan says maybe there was power left in the capacitors. Are they on the same circuit breaker?
What's on the same circuit breaker?
They were. Okay.
I said what? I didn't say they were.
Oh, are they on the same circuit breaker? When you have a circuit breaker panel, circuit breakers control certain outlets in your house. So if those devices were connected to the same circuit breaker, maybe that might make a difference. I'm not an electrician. I don't know that. Very well. So there's let's see. Take a look at these links. I'm pulled away from what I was trying to show. All right, $28. You're telling me this is new? That's kind of hard to believe.
There must be 2 lines of power in the bedroom. 3-phase means there are 2 120 volts outlets and 1 277 volts circuit.
Yeah, let's get to see that. There must be 2 lines of power in the bedroom. 3-phase mean there are 2 120 outlets and 277. You know what? I'm not interested in pursuing that any further. Sorry. This is not
No.
home electrical show.
It's just one of those. It was just one of those oddity things that's only happened once, or that only happens once or twice every so often, and it's not that big a deal.
Okay. May I go back to what I was talking about?
Yes.
Thank you. Somebody pointed out that there's a zoom slider, and yes, there is, and I missed that. So good point. that works well. So I'll just go ahead through this way. I did download them, but then have to unzip them and so on. So read error rate, there's that big number. And then there was a second one that was big here. Which one is that? That's temperature. Here, on the fly, uncorrectable error count. The manufacturers of these drives can use each of these numbers in the way that they choose to. But what I did here next is let's see, this was at 3:13 p.m. Now the very next photo, should be the next photo, also at 3:13 p.m., I just did a refresh on the function menu. There's a refresh. So I did a refresh and these numbers incremented up. And I didn't bother doing the math to figure out how much larger they went. But when they change just by doing a moment for moment refresh, that tells you there's a problem. Now, what brought this to my attention, the reason why I even checked, is I connected remotely to the computer to start preparing it for the new staff member. And I clicked the start button and it took over 5 seconds for the start button to respond. And other things I did similarly were way too slow. And I'm really, I don't know if I should say surprised, but that pretty much always winds up being the first the first way I notice that there's a drive problem. I go check it, and sure enough. Now I'm going to take that off screen for a moment and see if I've got any other photos in this string of photos that are not fit for public viewing. I think I'm okay. I might be taking it off screen once in a while. I did a crystal disk mark and test a couple of them. This was the version that I had on that computer. It was a little bit old, and it was back in the days when I was doing one round at 50 megabytes, and I learned since then that doesn't give very good accuracy results. So here's with the two different versions, Crystal Disk Mark 8.0 and 6.02. So the 8.0 is the newer one. Let's say hello to new arrival in Zoom. Hello, Sam Lazar.
Hello. Need to turn some lights.
All right. Let me continue with these pictures, and if you have a topic, then we'll come back to it later. Your picture just froze. Going to the next one.
Are the images from the new discs?
No, those are not images from the new disk. In fact, when I installed that new disk, I did not do a crystal disk mark. But the point there is wanted to show is that even a failing disk can show new good numbers. And that was this Corsair Force 240 gigabyte drive.
Why did it say fail to start VI boot? Which I'm
This
assuming it stands for virtual disk.
Yeah, that I was just tinkering around with Macrium Reflect because I was vaguely aware of it, but I have a reason to be interested in it. So this picture is out of sequence. This was on one of my computers. I was just exploring it. And that's why I want to install Virtual Box because I don't have Virtual Box installed on this computer. That's why it didn't start. This is Big Beast. I should take that off screen and get back to. Okay, here's the desk where that custom build computer is. It's in here. It's got a clear window. But this is a long time ago custom build. I did not build it. We'll get to who built it in a moment. Here's a closer picture of it, and I know these pictures are more of that computer.
Oh, you don't have to hide it. We all know Carrie built it.
No, Carrie did not build it. This
Just
was
trying to be
long.
funny.
Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, just it wasn't very dusty. You can see a layer of dust, but it wasn't nearly as bad as what I've seen for some computers. And this BIOS, I'm certain it hasn't had a BIOS update in a long time.
Is it old enough to have a BIOS, or is it a UEFI
DDR3
system?
memory.
Well, it's UEFI. It's showing on the stream if you're watching it. And then I booted to my Macrium Reflect thumb drive and do the clone operations. So I did this with cloning to the new disk. The new drive is 1 terabyte. Let's go. Let's see, is that? I think this is okay to show. This is just a peek at my logging of backups. So the F1F is a certain backup drive, the date, I do copy logs to external drive, I make a note of the last format. So as you're seeing these dates on the left, these are indicating when I do my swapping tasks. I keep a pretty detailed log of that work. Here's the server. This is in the same office as that custom computer, and we're going to get back to another picture of the custom computer that shows when it was built. Here's the drive 0 and drive 1. These two drives are mirrored to each other. That's the boot drive. This is the 146 gigabyte drives. These drives, number 2, number 3, number 4, those are in RAID 5 with each other. I don't remember the size of those offhand. Some of the carriages have the size of the drive. Do I have those here? No, I don't have one of those here because the extras are at their office. And here's the yellow light on top, and this one is a photo. I think I have a video coming up in a little bit, but not there yet. This is a open manage. It's showing a red X here, failed. This was after putting in one of the replacement drives. The picture back here was before the replacement. The drive that was in it, when I arrived this morning, it gives a green activity light when it is doing something. So at the time I snapped that photo, it was green. And the top light was alternating from yellow to green. And that's when it is actually online and functioning. After replacing the drive with one of these new drives, it came up as failed. It tried a little bit to synchronize, rebuild. I think it's called rebuild in this field, and that failed. This is back to the custom computer, and the clone completed in 26 minutes. This was just me looking at the restore menu. I want to see if that restore menu, this is an older version of Macrium Reflect, and it's, well, I don't think it's too old because it's off of my thumb drive. But this redeployed to new hardware, as we've been talking about recently about sysprepping drives. There's fixed Windows boot problems. I was just went in there as a curiosity to see what those options were. Here's the label. This custom build computer was built by Digital Storm. DSO is their website, I believe, if I remember right. And I've bought a few computers from them. I had them build one for me and 2 in this client's office. I'm not going to give them raving reviews. It's at a time when I wasn't interested in building computers. From my point of view, you cannot make money off of building computers. I can't charge my full hourly rate for all the time with shopping for the parts, picking the parts, ordering them, dealing with them when they get here, setting up to build the computer. The price to charge for a custom build is way too high. But I wanted a custom build computer for myself back around that same time frame, 2012, and that is my old streaming computer.
Let me write down the Windows key.
Yeah, that's gonna do anything for you, really? I don't care. You want that Windows 7 key? You can't activate it, so I think that was a joke from Dennis. Yeah, so when I was flying kids and I got the 6 GoPros mounted on my airplane and video editing them, and I was doing Flight Simulator with that computer with 3 monitors, and I had it set up in our hangar at the airport, and we let kids come in and fly the simulator. Yeah, that's why I had bought a custom computer. And in this client's office, we did 2 of them because we had 2 people who were heavy Dragon Naturally Speaking users. So I wanted higher end computers for that. You might have noticed it didn't have a graphics card. You don't need that for Dragon Naturally Speaking. Not useful. Oh, so here, I put the computer back together and turn it on. Here's what I get. Insert media and select the boot device. Failed. Did not work. Oh no. Well, what happened is I realized right away as soon as I saw that, I forgot to connect the signal cable to the new drive after screwing it into the mounting cage. Oh, that's the last photo. So let's come and say hello to Sam Lazar now. Did you have any topics?
Nope, nothing to add this week compared to the last few weeks.
All right. So those are my stories and pictures, and there was a video in there. I never did play a video. I guess I didn't notice which one of those was a video.
He did not joking. With key ID of 7, you can install Win 10.
With key ID of Windows 7, you can install Windows 10. Okay. All right. Yippee-ki-yay. Have fun with that. Save yourself $17. Here's a video. Play button. So that just shows what's happening with that light. Let's see, you can't tell so much there that it's blinking, alternating between orange and green. Well, I'm not sure which drive that is in there, whether that one was alternating or not. All right, now let's see what else is going on in chat. Thank you, Alex. He muted himself. Dennis saying you might pull his RTX 2060 and put it into the Ryzen 7 build. See if you can repeat the problem. Oh, the problem with capturing the kills in Fortnite. Answered that. 2 drives are for the RAID 5 volume. No, three drives for RAID 5. The drives I was trying to replace are for the RAID 1 mirroring. They're in drive bay 0 and 1. Full screen button on the top left. Is that right? Hide sidebar. Full screen on the top left. Oh, there.
Not exactly in the top left, but
yeah,
in Nexus
okay.
data.
Yeah, close enough. You see it. Right. I don't know why I guess it's just because I'm used to Control Plus that I was not looking that direction. Come back to chat. Let's see, we talked about the power stuff. John was an electrician before retirement. Images and zip files can be viewed without zipping. Yeah, that's correct. And that's right. I guess I just have always been in the habit of unzipping them. Hello, Tim. Yes, just kidding. Tim's having the same problem with Edge, same problem as before. You assume with all the work that I've done with clients and it shows on Windows Daily and such that I remember that instantly. I do not. Was that your settings are managed by administrator? I don't remember what that was. Microsoft turned off the Windows 7 to Windows 10 upgrade. Oh, so install Windows 10, but that's not an upgrade. So I'm thinking Zvi is saying with Windows 7 key, you can do a fresh install of Windows 10, but not do an upgrade from 7 to 10. That makes sense. Was signing into his Google account. The Edge problem, signing into Google account, it says something went wrong. All right. I'm more interested in getting this virtual box reinstalled on my computer than pursuing that, because I don't think that's really causing you a substantial problem. Microsoft stopped allowing Windows 7 to upgrade Windows 10 in the US. Same with 8.1. All right, they're caught up. So that was, I still have my virtual computers
I vote VirtualBox.
stored. Come down here to this drive, virtual machines. I still have a Kali Linux and Windows 10 Home and Pro and Windows 11 Home. I still have, oops, are those just the folders? Did I delete the actual saved computer snapshots? Yeah, I did. Oh well, that's all right. Oh, I got this in here. All right, so installing VirtualBox.
Keep the machines, they can be imported.
I didn't really do much with them, so I'm not worried about whether I deleted them or not, or which ones I deleted. So Oracle VirtualBox, that's the right one, correct? And
Yes.
then just download VirtualBox 7. And then I remember there was some kind of extra tools or something that we had me download.
Guest editions.
Guest editions?
Guest edition extension pack or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. All right, so platform packages, Windows host, VirtualBox. There's a bunch of links in here. Download.
Extension pack.
Extension pack, yeah, Rand. So do I go to this Windows host? Yeah, because I'm not one of those other hosts. So it looks like I would go here.
Yes, and then just download the extension pack, and then when you install, after you install the VirtualBox, you can click on that extension thing and install that.
Okay, I do that
Also,
from within, from after installing VirtualBox. I don't install that.
Yeah.
I don't download that now. All right.
I mean, you can download it, but you don't install it till after you.
Oh, well, can I go ahead and download it from this page, or is it somewhere else?
Yeah, just click on. Just where it says VirtualBox VM extension pack, and then click on all supported platforms.
Ah, okay.
That's where.
All right, good. Then I'll go into that folder and take these two. I'm going to right click, cut them from there. The place where I keep software installation is down here in SW Setup. And I'll right click and paste those. And you know what? I think I'll go one step further. I'm going to cut them from there and create a folder, Oracle Virtual Box. That way I keep them nice and orderly. Ken Stout taught me about how to keep things neat and orderly and organized because he's so good at that.
Nah, no way.
You don't believe that?
No, maybe in his dreams. Maybe you and him share the same dreams, and y'all keep each other organized.
All right, launching VirtualBox. I see Gary Weisenberger with a link in chat. Devicepartnermicrosoft.com. Okay, welcome to OralBox VM VirtualBox 7.0.14 setup wizard. Click next. Do I need to make any settings changes in here? This is going to by default install all of that into program.
I don't think so. No, you don't have to.
Okay, into program files, Oracle VirtualBox. I want to see if I have that folder already existing and if there's anything in there.
It's probably what you have is probably an older version though. So.
Could be. Program files. Was it Oracle? Oracle, VirtualBox, and there's an extension packs, and there are extension packs in that path. Come over here and say hello to Gary. Hello, Gary.
Hello. What's going on?
Well, installing Oracle VM VirtualBox. If I'm going to actually give you a literal answer, which I'm just compelled to. Somebody asks me what's up or what's going on, and I just can't help myself. I'm going to give them a specific
Ignore that
answer.
folder. It will be automatically upgraded during install.
Somebody told me there's no stupid questions, but there are stupid people asking questions.
Okay. Understood, Ryan? Go ahead.
That was an answer to the question on updating from Microsoft about Windows 11 and 10. That I posted.
Oh, that you posted, was that from someone else's question?
Well, they were talking about how you can upgrade from Windows 7, 8, and 8.1.
Oh,
they got rid of that and 11.
All right.
And I have a pet peeve: quote the source, don't quote somebody else.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm with you there. You don't what? You don't want me to tell you what's going to happen with Windows 12?
No comment.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what's
it's
not
just like it's just like my mom. Like my mom. I don't know who on here was affected by the AT&T outage, nationwide outage a couple of days ago, which is like my mom. When I told her about it when she came home from my grandma's, first thing she told me was, "It's a cyber attack."
Oh,
I can guarantee you there will be no Windows 12 this year.
Am I going to regret mentioning that?
No, I just can guarantee you that.
All right.
It doesn't mean anything. It just means there won't be a Windows 12.
I clicked through a few things there without verbalizing them because there was no choices. So here's Start Oracle VM VirtualBox after installation. Fine. There is a motivation to reinstalling this now that I have not described yet or talked about, and I'll bring that in here at
Doug,
some
I
point.
thought you had deleted the VMs after reinstalling Windows on Big Beast, but Speedy thought wrong. LOL.
Well, no, I guess I didn't delete all of them. The folders are still there, but I think only one of those folders actually has content.
No, Win12 Win 1124 H2.
All right, I'm not even going to respond to that one. Stay away from that topic. Where am I trying? Why am I clicking these buttons? Did it start up? No. I told it to start up, right? So it should just launch on its own.
Are you going to build a practice domain?
That's not what's currently on my, that's not my current motivation, but I am kind of interested in that because I'm going to be, I've done a highly secured environment, but I had somebody else walking me through that. And it would be useful for me to practice.
Was that on that
down.
cybersecurity hack-a-day, hack the box thing you did?
No, that was something I got interested in around the same time. But I have a financial services client that needed to get their security tightened up, and he had a personal friend who is a white hat hacker and does penetration testing and does setups of secure systems. So anyway, he was on phone and remote connections with me to go through the whole setup, all the policies, and actually I have to finish up the written policies and make them formally adopted, because we think we're going to get audited at some point down the road. I have no idea what chat messages I may have missed. Oh, there it is.
When you get audited with computers and stuff, how does that exactly work? Does random people from some random organization come in, a third party, and check every single computer physically, or?
For penetration testings? No, Gary, go ahead.
No. Usually you have an independent auditor. It could be like one of the big four right now. They're big onto that. That's who we used when we were for hospitals and for insurance. Because with insurance, we have both HIPAA and FINRA, which is where I retired from.
So it looks like here we've got, I don't have to import my machines. It has what's available there. So it looks like these two.
Next step, close Virtual Box and double-click the Extensions installer.
Oh, yes. All right. Close Virtual Box and then do the Extensions installer. Local Virtual Box. There's that folder and extension pack.
You actually do that from within the Virtual Box program.
Well, it looks to me like you can do it either way. Ran Israel was saying close Virtual Box and double click the extensions installer, and that's what I did. And I'm getting,
you can do it either.
I'm getting that, and it's offering to upgrade the older version of the extension pack. So it looks like that's working fine.
That'll work.
Waiting for the agree button. Oh, I guess I got to scroll down for the agree button to become available. I did read through all that. Joking. So path not found for that one and that one because they're gone. And then this one's powered off. And this was a Kali Linux that apparently is still there and functional. And so to turn this on, I just double clicked it. It's powering up. And it came up on a different monitor. Now I just punched over that monitor because it's not letting me drag that over yet. Virtual machine execution ran into a non-fatal problem as described below. We suggest that you take appropriate action to prevent the problem from reoccurring. There's a details. The image file m such and such is inaccessible and is being ignored. So apparently that image isn't actually there. Inaccessible and is being ignored. Select a different image. All right, let's just click OK on that. Now I can move this over to my preferred screen.
The VM is pointing to a non-existing ISO file.
Yeah, Ran, since it was showing, it was showing these two inaccessible, I was figuring that they weren't there, but since it looked like this one was present, I thought it was. Well, let's go look and see what my, here, virtual machines. And it's the Windows
The virtual disk
10
is present.
home.
The virtual disk is not.
The virtual disk is present. The virtual ISO is not. So would there be a ISO file in here?
Open the VM settings and remove the ISO file.
Okay. Open the VM settings. So here I have that one selected. It says it's running. But we got that error message. Should I close this before trying to do what you're saying there to remove the ISO file? Yes. Oh, that's from Tim. Sorry, Tim. You're not the authority on that.
Recommended.
All right. Send the shutdown signal. Yeah, if it's not actually there, it's not going to respond to a shutdown signal, is it?
Just do a power off.
Power off? That makes sense.
Yeah, that's like holding the power button in on a physical machine.
Okay, so I have that one selected and go to settings and said remove the ISO file. Where's that at? Here, this. Windows 10 ISO with an exclamation mark, remove attachment. That makes sense? By the way, exclamation mark Y is the way that you can use SpeakerBot for a yes without you having to type anything after it.
Yes.
Go to the right hand side, the little disk icon on the far right hand side. Don't remove the attachment.
You're saying don't remove the attachment?
No.
Here's
Click on the
remove,
little disk and then click on remove virtual disk.
remove disk from virtual drive. Whereas over here it was saying remove attachment.
That's like pulling out the whole CD drive in the physical machine.
Yeah. Hey, Rand, for demonstration purpose, would you just do me a favor and do an exclamation Y? Just exclamation mark Y. Don't type anything after it. There's new commands as of this morning. Exclamation mark Y, exclamation mark N, exclamation mark M for yes, no, maybe. But it didn't work. Exclamation mark bingo is not a command. Exclamation mark Y should have worked.
I started hearing y'all talking about the exclamation mark or whatever, and then stuff after that, and I had no idea. Is it some new syntax you two that started with the chat?
No, it's my SpeakerBot system. Are you not aware of my SpeakerBot?
I'm aware you were using it. I'm not aware of the commands and stuff you type to.
Oh, I didn't do this. What's that? SpeakerBot speak UDP. Oh. Yeah, looks like I didn't do that right. Let's do copy sub action. Take that down here. Ugh. Don't like that. All right. I don't have that set up right. Chat message all. Oh, because I picked the wrong thing, didn't I? Let's see. Speaker. Yeah, I did. There. That's what I need to do. Really? Voice alias? Oh, 11 labs random. Yeah. Speaker bot, speak UDP, 11 labs random, and this was, the message is yes. So try another exclamation mark Y for me. Take that one out. Did I get that right yet? Interrupt here. So we have a problem. Yeah. Voice alias is default on that one. Give it up, Doug. All right, I'm going to pursue that later. Let's get on to the reason why I was interested in doing this. Now I did the, I deleted that. So now can I power this on and we expect it to work?
No, you got to add another. You got to add another. You got to download like a Windows 10 image and add it to the. Add the ISO in there before it'll work. Unless you don't already have a Windows 10 or Windows 11, whatever you want to use downloaded.
All right. Ren says yes, Greg. M says no.
As long as you have a virtual disk with an installed OS.
I'm just going to go ahead and double click on that and see what happens. Starting virtual machine, and then we get this window. This is where we had the error last time. Greg M says the operating system is already installed in the VM. It's booting Windows as it should from Greg M. Looks to me like this is going to work. Have a good nap, Dennis. See you later for Fortnite.
Doug.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Microsoft Teams? Have you used it very much?
No, I haven't used it. I haven't used it much.
I was just asking because I had an interview last Tuesday using Microsoft Teams, and I had an issue. I kept trying to download the program to install the program just like with Zoom, and I kept having an issue trying to get it when I would click on the link, trying to get it to recognize everything correctly. The Microsoft Teams. So I ended up just using the web version of Microsoft Teams and joining via the website, which worked fine.
Okay.
I just was wondering what your experience with that is. Do you have any?
No, I don't have any clients that are using Microsoft Teams, so I have not spent any time. Well, I've spent very, very little time with it. Really, the only time that I spend with it on any routine basis is to uninstall it and the machine-wide installer. Yep. So that is. That did work.
Okay. Occasionally, I do get interviews. I wish they would all just use Zoom, but if they're already paying for Microsoft 365 and it comes included.
I also use the web version because I didn't want to enter my phone number.
A separate license for Zoom or some other meeting software.
Well, that's not the reason, Alex. It's because it's integrated in the SharePoint and the Office, the 365 products, if you will. And it's a lot easier to share spreadsheets. You can literally type on it each at the same time. Same with a Word document. That's why it's used in-house. And we use it extensively. And when you get the business teams, it's actually not, I mean, it's included, but it's not cheaper to have that as functionality.
All I know is when I went to click on their meeting link in my email and it opened up the Microsoft Teams program on the computer, I kept having an issue with the program loading correctly.
You have to, I mean, it takes a while to set it up, and you have, it's not Zoom for the consumer as easily as in-house. I mean, I would not use it at home. I would use Zoom. But if industry, you would use Teams, quite honestly, at a company with more than 100 people.
Well, Gary, how about when interviewing somebody that's not onboarded with the company yet? Would it still make sense for them to use Teams for that online interview? Or is that a mistake on their part?
You want the answer from management, a mistake. If you want answer from IT, test.
Well, actually, the guy that was interviewing me,
HR would say Zoom, IT would say Teams.
Okay.
In other words, if I was interviewing a marketing person, I would definitely say Zoom. But if I was interviewing an IT person and we have Teams, that's a heck of a test.
All right. I got you. So it's a test for the interviewee if he's being interviewed for an IT position. Got it.
And if we do use Teams. I mean, if we would expect, I mean, that's a big infrastructure for us. So if that would be part of your job, and Teams is part of Windows right now, Windows 11.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a product you'd have to go buy.
Well, with the Teams that comes with Windows 11, and I think also Windows 10, isn't it?
I'm familiar with,
because I think so, because I was always having to uninstall it. Anytime that I did a Microsoft 365 subscription for a business 365 account, it would automatically install Teams. So it might not have been included with Windows 10. It's probably because of Microsoft 365 business version. Hang on. God, that was enough to throw me out. What I was going to say.
We're getting old, Doug.
Here's what I was asking: is the Teams that a person might have on their own computer, would that be functional? Would they be able to use that with the company that's interviewing on their Teams without any extra configuration?
They would have to configure it, but it would be usable. Yes.
Okay. Now go ahead.
It would not have that. Go ahead.
Hey, Doug. Constanza the Mage, he's got an explanation in the chat.
Okay.
About Alex's problem there.
All right. Let's go look at that.
They want enterprise email with the desktop app.
All I know is the desktop application was giving me an issue. So I just used the web version of Teams, which worked flawlessly.
Okay. I also need to use the web version when interviewing. It wants you to have an enterprise email with the desktop app. Oh, okay. So you want
no, it'll work with, I'm sorry to interrupt, Doug. It'll work with a Microsoft account.
Yeah, that makes sense. A Microsoft account, not necessarily an enterprise email account.
Right. That's why it comes with Teams comes with home version.
I was signed in with a Microsoft account, but I was still having issues. And this was just the exe file that I went to download from Teams. When I went to download from Microsoft, the website, but when I tried to download it from the store, even from the Microsoft store, it was still giving me issues. So I just finally gave up on it and just joined via the website.
Okay. So to catch up with these other comments, Randy Israel, I also used the web version because I didn't want to enter my phone number. That's on a different topic. Teams Windows 11 home versions are for personal, not enterprise. Paul Thurrott said Microsoft is working on a unified version for desktop. Costanza says, no, it doesn't. He has a Microsoft account, and he's holding to his statement that you have to have an enterprise email for the desktop app to work. So we have a different report between Costanza and Gary. Home will connect to the enterprise. So maybe there's some other
It will
tweak
connect
that's not
only-
working for him? Go ahead.
Yeah, it will still consider personal, but it'll connect as basically, think of it almost as a terminal. You can talk back and forth, but you cannot do any of the share, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can kind of essentially a guest connection.
Exactly.
The teams that companies interview you with are their enterprise version. Microsoft account is considered personal. There's a Microsoft account personal and Microsoft account business. Anytime that I'm using a custom domain, it's business account. I had problems in the past where I had clients who had a Microsoft personal account, and then we tried to give them a Microsoft business account, and I've had some troubles with that, because if you're trying to put in your credentials and Microsoft has you in the personal section, it'll claim the credentials aren't valid. It's actually apparently some different sign-on page that you have to get to for your business credentials to work, and vice versa.
Right, home and school and work. And,
yeah,
different.
home and school and personal are different sign-on URLs for Microsoft. And it'd be useful if I had those nailed down to where I could know how to get from one to the other. And Israel, same topic. Work uses Microsoft Teams. Job interview use Zoom. When was the last time you interviewed Gary? So I guess asking Gary, last time you interviewed for a job or interviewed somebody?
I've never interviewed for a job officially. I've been
For the record, the interviewer did not ask me anything about me if I had any issues joining the Microsoft Teams, but there was a couple of times, there was 2 times during the interview that he had other programs open. He had Zoom open at the same time as he had our meeting going, and he got disconnected as I was talking to him twice. So I had to repeat myself twice.
He had Zoom open at the same time that he was talking with you through Teams?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
I've never done that, but you could do it, I guess. They use different protocol.
Yeah. Well, it supports the idea that they might have chosen to use Teams for interviewing an IT person, since he has Zoom. Seems like Zoom would be more seamless for most of their interviews. Costanza says he gets in the same loop that Alex gets in. I've used Teams before when working for other companies. Costanza, now my Microsoft account is different than the email account that I'm usually invited with. So maybe that would make a difference. Could be. Yeah, because you'd have to be signed in with your Microsoft account, I would think.
My email account and my Microsoft account are two different emails, so that probably has something to do.
Okay. Only twice from Wintermute. I don't know where that was in the conversation.
Interview.
But
Probably for interview.
Okay, let me get back here to here's Macrium Reflect, and I'll just pick one of my backup images, come up here to restore, and launch Macrium via virtual image boot. Because if I understand this right, it would let me actually boot that as a virtual machine, to actually take it from a backup file. But it says failed to start via boot. VirtualBox 7 is not supported in this release. Which version of VirtualBox is this? 7. So maybe I just need to do an upgrade for Macrium Reflect. Configure update check. Oh, here's updates. Yeah, 8.1. I'm on 8.0. So I'll download that. Now, so you've seen a piece of why I'm motivated to do this now is for doing a virtual image, but that doesn't quite give you the why of it. Why now? I have a specific use. Enter your license key. Let's go find a license key. I'll go find a license key, not let's. I have 5 licenses. Remember, right? They're perpetual licenses. And I have them labeled for which computers I have them installed on. Okay, this product is registered to DougBetts. What a coincidence, that's my name. Custom setup installs CBT, Image Guardian, VI boot, install desktop shortcut. Fine with all of that. End of life as in January. Virtual boxes end of life 6.1. Yeah, I don't have that. Watch it macro and reflect confuses people sometimes asking for license keys with old trial version. Version 7 Hyper-V don't play along nicely together. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ah, there. All right.
I have another job interview too. I have another job interview this Tuesday, but thankfully it's going to be easier because it's just a phone call, just a phone interview.
All right. Good luck with that. You must restart your system for the configuration changes made to macro and reflect to take effect. Not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and try the program anyway because I've found that many times when it says a restart is required, it's not actually required and it will still work.
Yeah, a lot of that is probably just carry over from the old days of, you know, when you used to install drivers or whatever. They used to always say restart.
Zvita Jean, after install the Windows was activated, also tried to activate by change activation with the same key and it was activated again. Ah, there it is. There's Macro and Reflect with showing the new version number. Now I'll go to existing backups. See if I can launch. I think right click here, does that also give me a chance? Yeah, VI boot image. And on this restore menu, launch Macrium VI boot. I don't think we ever saw the loading graphic before. So while that's going to take a little while, it looks like, of course, because Big Beast build image is kind of big. I've recently told, unable to communicate with VI boot, operation aborted. Could it be that because I have it open already? Doesn't seem, because I haven't done the reboot perhaps. So reboot is pending. Please restart Windows before launching VI boot. Yeah, that's the reason. All right. So, but let me get to the explanation. The computer that has the 7 beeps, the laptop that has the 7 beeps, it's an old computer. That client is going to spend some time with her and the Google laptop that's not actually Windows. Something book. What's it called? Chromebook. She's going to see if her Chromebook suits all of her needs. She had bought the Chromebook for when they travel, so it'd be a lightweight computer for just web browsing and email and such. She hasn't been using it much at all because they haven't been traveling for a while. So she's going to see if that's very useful to her. The only thing that we think is missing by not repairing her old laptop is that it has QuickBooks on it from her husband's painting business, which he retired from that a few years ago. But they are feeling like they'd like to be able to get back and look something up if they need to. So they're a little nervous about not having that availability. I wouldn't be able to install QuickBooks, or it would be difficult to do on a new computer. It's an old QuickBooks. I don't even know if the installation media is around. But my thoughts there for an experiment, for an educational basis, and I would not be charging you for this because I'm intrigued by it. Take the hard drive out of the computer, connect it to another computer, make a Macrium Reflect image backup of it, then boot it into the virtual machine, and then sysprep it, then restore that image to different hardware, to another laptop. I have some functional laptops around here that have been retired from service, but they still work. Restore it on one of those. I'm interested to see if that will work. And as a secondary possible actually useful piece of information, as upgrades, as we start replacing Windows 10 computers with Windows 11 computers, what would the experience be like to restore those, sysprep those images and restore them to other computers? Now, one question for those of you who have been through sysprep, does that wipe out the existing users and the content that's in their profiles when you sysprep a computer? It does. All right.
It completely wipes all the computer name and all the identifiable information.
Yeah, it anonymizes the computer, but the installed programs would still be there, right?
Yes, like if you went to install Firefox, Chrome, anything like that, it would.
The user accounts remain. The profiles are deleted.
But all the personal data, like the bookmarks and all that would be gone.
All right. So so you're agreeing with what Rand just said, I believe. The user accounts are still there, but the profiles are deleted, so they don't have any content. But the user profile folder still exists under the users folder, and I suppose the credentials work. Do they still have the password?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I know that I know that firsthand because when I did an image for all of our college computers, I accidentally made a bunch of bogus user accounts.
The credentials
Didn't mean
still
to.
work.
So after I installed on every computer, after I pushed that image out, I had to go back and manually delete all those other bogus user accounts.
When you log in, a new profile is created.
Accidentally created in the image.
Okay, so this is a little mixed up with Rand's last two comments. Does the credentials still work when you log in, a new profile is created? Are you saying that's a different profile folder under users? Or, well, if all the content is already deleted from the existing profile folder, how would it be a new profile? That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if I would add my view, whenever I do sysprep on one of these laptops for donation, it would bring me to the Windows setup screen, like an out-of-box experience. I'll do that. Then the user is still there, the previous test user I made to add all the programs. So what I ended up doing was just deleting the user through command prompt in Windows out-of-box experience. I'll donate it.
All right.
That's essentially what I had to do. So that at the end of the day, when I had everything done, all we had, the only local user account on the computer was administrator, and then everybody else would be under a server domain account.
Doug, a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Very back in the periphery, heard that QuickBooks is not.
If you want no additional users, boot the system in audit mode and do the customization as administrator.
Is that true?
Sorry, I had a speaker bot come in and stepped all over you.
Is QuickBooks going to be still supporting the desktop-only version in the future, the foreseeable future?
No.
I know, Dad.
There are ways to get around that. There's a third-party company that has a let's see, basically use essentially an online virtual machine that lets you use a desktop version of QuickBooks, and they have some special way to make that work. My understanding is, well, as a normal end user, you cannot buy the desktop version of QuickBooks anymore. For some number of years, you were able to subscribe to a desktop version, be charged yearly for it. My understanding now is that they're dropping that, so that a lot of small businesses are going to be in a world of hurt if they need to do payroll. I have several clients who are using obsolete versions of QuickBooks desktop version, and it's working fine. It's way out of support for them. It doesn't get updates, but if they don't do payroll, that's okay.
And I know you have to train more people. You would have to train everybody again if you did something like this. But would it not be possible to go with something like, is there like a business version of like TurboTax or some other software? I know you'd have to retrain everybody, but
yeah, it wouldn't be TurboTax, because that's for doing income taxes. That's not a basic accounting software, but there's other accounting softwares. I think some of them will claim that you can take data from an old QuickBooks, but just doing data conversion from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online for my own books was a nightmare, so much so that I gave up on it and just started my books from scratch with QuickBooks Online, because I switched to that, I want to say 2015, 2017, something like that. And I don't, not because I like it. It's not like I'm highly critical of QuickBooks Online. And it's a very, very different animal as far as how it does things over the desktop version. The reason why I wanted to go to it is because with me using multiple computers and wanting to access my books when I'm away from here, what I was having to do to accomplish that, I had to keep synchronizing the data file between my computers. Every time I go to leave, I'd have to transfer my data file to my laptop. That was unpleasant.
I don't keep up with all the accounting, TurboTax, stuff like that, because my mom and my grandma have always had somebody else do their taxes. She always goes to someone else and have them do it.
Well, Gary, I'll come to you in a moment, but that touches on what I think the solution is going to be for some of these small businesses that do payroll with QuickBooks Desktop rather than switching to a different product. I think a better thing for them to do is to hire an outside company to do their payroll or use a different software for their payroll, just not do it within QuickBooks, and that way they can continue their company accounting within QuickBooks. I have this attorney's office that the photos were from this morning. They actually run 5 different companies through their QuickBooks Desktop version. Now, the reason for that is that as partners have changed over the years, the original partners are one company, and then they brought in a couple other partners. So then there's another company file that manages that company. And then some of the attorneys actually run their own business.
Reckon split from QuickBooks.
As a
QuickBooks went online, while Reckon 2024, which Dad uses, is still offline on Windows 11.
I'm going to come back to that later.
Sole proprietor.
Let me finish. Yeah, sole proprietor. And some of the attorneys are actually filed as a corporation on their own. So it works. It's working pretty well. But for them to convert all of that to some other accounting program, I don't want to do that. They are already using an obsolete version of QuickBooks, and it's a one-time license. So it's not even on a subscription. Anybody that went from the one-time license to a subscription version, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, because I think the subscription version will probably stop working. Now, to catch up with these chat messages. If you want no additional users, boot in the audit mode. Yeah, that's good. I'm familiar with what audit mode is. Intuit is giving small businesses a special salute. That's right. Greg M. Intuit and H&R Block both got their hands slapped for overhanded tax antics for online tax prep, probably. Sam, Reckon split from QuickBooks. QuickBooks went online while Reckon 2024, which Dad uses, is still offline on Windows 11. I guess, is Reckon a accounting package?
Correct, yep. It's an accounting software which Dad uses.
All right.
So, and offline.
All right. Oh, Reckon split from QuickBooks. Okay, so that's like a spin-off from QuickBooks?
Yeah, I think QuickBooks went online and Reckon became the offline version, which Dad went, and now Reckon's got an online version, so funny things happen.
All right.
Just to interrupt, isn't your dad like a CPA or something?
No, he's a chartered accountant. He works for himself, doing tax work for others. Not tax returns.
In Australia, down under.
Yep.
Yeah. Gary, you started to say something earlier, and you didn't get a chance, did you?
Well, that one was because somebody was talking about it for themselves, had nothing to do with us. But yeah, the reason I asked is we got beat up because we have different locations, but in our Michigan area, we have 7 countries. We have over 40 tax authorities for Michigan alone. Forget about our other states. And we have a little city in Michigan called Benton Harbor that has a tax for their residents that they work for us in Detroit area. And it didn't get updated by our national software. They complained, obviously complained.
I had a client that was a, what is it called? I don't think it was called trustee, but basically they received the money for a lot of people that are on some form of government assistance where they are, I guess they've been deemed unfit to manage their own money. So they're managing the money for thousands of people in multiple towns. And they were doing that from QuickBooks Desktop. They no longer have that contract, so not doing that anymore. So they're no longer a client of mine under that. But I wonder what would happen to that type of an operation. All right, Daniel Emberley saying still using Microsoft Money, sunset version, no longer supported. Think I like it because they never change it. Yeah, there you go. If you want a software product that doesn't get changed on you, buy one that's no longer supported. Go ahead.
Is that like from 95 or 98 or something? It sounds like it's.
Yeah, I think it was actually, that was part of the name, Microsoft Money 98. I think. And there was other year versions, but I'm not sure if it went much past 98. Sam gives me a link for Reckon history. Reckon or Recon? I think that's Reckon. Did you mean Reckon company? That link didn't actually get me there. Asking, did I mean this?
It's Wikipedia. I just looked up Reckon history on Google. Yeah. Australian, was part of QuickBooks, split off.
Oh, Australian software company, yeah. Founded by Greg, 1987. Started republishing and redistributing Quicken and QuickBooks in Australia under a licensing agreement. Oh, so it would have been identical to QuickBooks then, right?
Yeah, it was. I remember Dad on old Windows 7 XP machines using QuickBooks, and it was the same but modified for Australia.
Oh, interesting. All right. Okay. Well, I do believe we got all of my topics covered, didn't we? Let's see where. Here and about here. No, that wasn't. No, looking at the shirt. That's not today. This is today. Reinstall Virtual Box done. Failing SSD, custom computer and pictures, and those server drives done. All right.
You know, other than him having the issues, me having a little bit of issues before the interview with Microsoft Teams, the actual interview went really well. He had it scheduled for like 30 minutes, and we ended up talking for over an hour.
Sounds good.
He had lots of questions about me, and I had lots of questions for him. I had like a page of like 15 questions wrote, because you know a lot of these job interview videos that people make, they say one of the biggest mistakes people make is not asking questions when they ask you if you have.
Yeah, if they ask you want to have some reasonably intelligent questions to ask, and don't just make up a question on the spot when you're asked. So yeah, good for you to be prepared for that. Here's some other comments. Ida Rivera, hello everybody. I use QuickBooks Desktop, but each year they charge more now, $700 plus for the desktop version. I went online and was successful transferring company file, but don't like and electricity is not stable, so it went back. Yeah, the online version is very different in how it operates. Ran Israel, closing parenthesis was missing. Oh, that's why I didn't go to that link correctly. All right. Ran Israel was missing, and chat. Did anyone notice a new recovery listing in system protection? A new recovery listing in system protection. I don't know, is there for system protection, this tab? A new recovery listing? Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to there. Anything else from Ran Israel yet on that? No. Here in Canada, I can still download QuickBooks Pro 2024 desktop version. Really? Microsoft Money is still available from the store. Online features disabled.
How's it do taxes for, payroll?
Oh,
but
Here's what he means. Available drives. Well, that's the recovery partition. It gives you the opportunity to identify whether you're going to have protection turned on for the recovery partition. So when I look at my available partitions, and I don't have recovery partition available. His recovery partition does not have a drive letter assigned to it. And I'm gonna guess that's a Windows 10. Is that enough to make that difference? Or maybe it's got, I've seen some cases where, and some of you know this without my hemming and hawing about it, but I think if you did a upgrade from like Windows 7 to Windows 10, there's an extra partition, or is it from a legacy system to UEFI, or maybe if you're still on legacy, there's an extra partition. Is that what's going on there? On my, well, it's not fair for me to bring up my drive that has my recovery partition, because I have a C drive there, and this E drive is a dual boot. It's a separate installation of Windows.
On an EFI system, you have 4 partitions in the main C drive.
Yeah.
And on a MBR, you only have 2. System reserved and the normal C partition. And then if you have a recovery made from your manufacturer, you'll have that as a separate drive letter.
Ran Israel, can you give us a picture of your disk management screen? Because I think what all that's doing is offering to do system protection for that additional partition. But this has an individual, that's a strange icon for a partition, it seems like. All right, open for other subjects. If we don't get them, we'll shut down early.
Well, I got a daughter story, for an IT daughter story.
Oh, all right.
You got a minute? It's kind of, it goes back to you and I probably. She's setting up her company, set up a system server, more than 100 users, quite a few more. Anyway, they have the engineering and all that in a different area than production-y type management. So they got them separated by quite a distance, probably about 400, 500 feet. And the home run is the problem. Now, they had a solution that worked when they had an IBM mid-range solution. They spec'd out optical for the home run. The IT people that they had said Cat is fine, we can do that. They did Cat 7. She doesn't care. They're doing the software and all that setup. They did program customization. It was an SAP system, I'll give you that. And now engineering, all the management type functions are dying. CAD stuff is dying. They can't download anything. Speed tests are in the 80s and 90s.
80 and 90 megabytes?
Yeah. Download a CAD file to that.
Yeah.
And if you go to the other side where you got I'll say, I hate the word clerical, but the people that are, the maybe expediters and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're doing gig speed all day. Just bad out of heck.
Right.
And they're holding up paying her, and I mean, we're talking bills, because she's paying, at this one place, she had like 8 employees for almost 6 months. Customizing, installing, training, yada, 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 yada. But, whatever. So she's mad. She's got her tech people there, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Behind the wall.
She's the tech company that did the installation, or doing the installation for this?
Of all the software and setup, server on the back end, none of the hardware.
And
I mean, they did the software to the hardware, but she spiked the hardware, and they went through that.
Okay, and that long run was done with an Ethernet cable rather than fiber optic.
Right. But that would be fine. I mean, I have no issue with that. The issue is, understand it's like 500 feet. We have a problem with that.
Well, it'll work, but it won't have as much bandwidth as the fiber optic, right?
Well, they put something in between it, a switch. That's still not an issue. This is company has been running an IBM mid-range system from the 80s.
Okay.
And it worked with a switch in between.
All right.
They didn't change the switch. Anybody that old remember what that switch is? Maxed out at?
100 meg.
100
meg.
100 meg.
Yep.
All right. There you go. Well, that's a simple solution then, right? Just put in them.
Well, they did. Yeah, but they didn't tell her. I mean, that, you know, she spec'd it out. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know, behind a wall, they didn't literally just, they didn't change it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like their IT department that has, you know, 15, 20, 30 years experience.
Yeah.
The hardware, their IT support network administrators didn't change a stupid. They were using probably a $300 switch today you would get on eBay for $10.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no reason why they shouldn't have changed it. I just got two gigabit 8-port PoE switches for the church. Each one was $50. There's no reason why you company that big can't change it.
I mean, wouldn't, yeah, but they had. And then a quick joke. We were talking about QuickBooks. We have, this is two things. We have insurance, health insurance for people. We're in Michigan. We have people that are 8 miles away. I don't know if anybody's online right now that's from Canada. Do you guys get a Blue Cross type card? They don't want their $10,000 a year Blue Cross card. They want 10,000 cash.
Well, what happens? What happens here is it's called an OHIP. In Ontario, it's an OHIP card, and your doctor has it. Any hospital has it when you go in, and that's it. Like,
yeah, but they want an agreement. Yeah, but where do you work? Do you have friends that work in like the States?
No.
In other words, they don't. Our healthcare is provided by, for the most part, well, no, is provided by the employer if you work.
Yeah.
Or yourself. And you guys don't have employer supplied for the most part, or at all.
Well, it's extra. It'd be added stuff like your prescription drugs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Glasses.
And they're trying to negotiate, and that becomes because we had one guy we negotiated with, and 3 months later he moves to the States, you know, as a guest visa and horrible. I don't even want to deal with that, but we deal with that. And then we actually, that's a quick joke I have about the industry. When I started in this industry, we made fun of the people that would be programming the microwaves and, you know, LEDs. That was a joke. One day you'll be the idiot programming the LEDs for the microwave. That guy is the head of the industry now. We're competing. We had a guy that we're interviewing. He's been offered a position because of the contract that they're trying to get, some other companies trying to get, to sit on the sidelines for 3 to 6 months. I mean, working as an employee, permanent employee, for over 280, close to 300,000. This is automotive embedded.
Yeah, I think I missed something there. They're paying him 280,000 to 300,000 to sit on the side. Is that what you said?
Sideline.
Meaning not do any actual work.
Yeah, to keep us from getting him.
Oh, to keep you from hiring that person. Oh, okay. Oh, nice gig.
I wish I could get a job to do me that way.
Right.
Well, you have to have a PhD. You have to have 10 years embedded programming. Then you can get that job. But,
all right. Gotcha now. All right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So the guy that's doing the application programming, we used to make fun of the embedded programmer because it's like you're doing the refrigerator, the TV.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And not a very prestigious role back then.
And actually, anybody that says I've been in IT 30 years is lying to you. So if I hear somebody say IT for 30 years, IT has only been around since '96. They've been in data processing we were arguing about that at work because there's one other old timer where I work.
Well,
it was funny.
It was data processing in the 80s and 90s.
Interesting concept, because I was performing computer support before
Did
then.
they call it IT, or was it the data processing department?
Well, it wasn't in a corporate environment. We were a third party company and would go in and but these were not going into the same type of clients that I have now. I mean, normally I was going into a non-networked environment.
No, but the term information technology.
The term is what you're talking about. So
yeah, I'm making a joke.
Yeah, okay, but I don't. So if you're saying the department, then I could say, well, I don't work in IT now. I don't work in an IT department.
Well, no, they call it information technology now.
All right.
Back then,
that term wasn't used. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, people. You've been in data processing.
Yeah.
Even if you were, networking. No, I mean, it was. Now you're an IT professional, but then you were a DP professional.
All right. Let me get back to chat here. There's some more going on with the accounting issue. Let's see. This is talking about the number of partitions. Did we ever get another photo back about that drive? Let's see. This is the image. Was this the? No, that was the recovery partition. So I don't think we've seen that. Drive disk management. Ida says money is not the same. I need invoices to provide my accountant, profit and loss detailed, sales by customer detailed, and trial balance yearly. Looking for cheaper alternatives. I haven't done any research in that area, so I don't know of less expensive alternatives. I suspect they do exist. Greg, I have a non-UEFI system here and have 2 system partitions, C drive and recovery partition. Alice, hello to you. Sam, for a client who wants a mini PC, should I go bare bones or complete systems? I would go complete systems for myself, because if I'm going to build the system up from bare bones, I want to charge fully for my time. And I just don't see that there's enough of a price difference in there that I can make up for that. So I would buy it complete, equipped the way that we want it for the client. So that's
that's the bare bones I'm looking at in Australian dollars. Sorry.
These are the ones that you're looking at. These are kind of higher prices for mini computers.
They're Australian dollars.
Pardon?
Australian dollars, AUD.
Oh, okay. So is that in US dollars would be less?
Maybe a converter if you want to find out more.
All right. But I've got these 2 computers here. I don't consider them to be high end. The B-Link.
Yep.
Yeah, i5 1 terabyte, 16 gigabytes, and I think they're 500 some odd.
Okay, US 500.
Then back here, Danielle, I often wonder how people manage to use lower cost USA tax software products. Broker only offers data export for TurboTax, tax account, and H&R Block. Can't imagine dealing with that manually. If you have simple taxes, I don't see any problem with using those software programs. I think some people use those tax software programs and don't realize that they could get a better outcome if they use an accountant or a CPA. I've done the same thing, stick a switch in the long run of a cat cable, yeah. Ryan, I'm in Ontario. Do we have OHIP? What's the question? I think that's back when we were talking about medical stuff. Let's not go there again. Starting to wind down here. Ida, my bank accounts have QuickBooks as alternative for downloading transactions and direct connection, which I don't like to use. Prefer downloading and dealing with the import. That is one thing that I like about QuickBooks Online, is that I don't have to go actually do a download manually. It keeps all my accounts downloaded on an ongoing basis, and that has worked pretty well once I learned how they accomplish that. It's weird. You have to match the transactions that have been downloaded to the transactions that you've either created manually or let it automatically enter the transactions for you. My books are currently actually kind of messed up because of doing that incorrectly. My balance sheet is hugely out of whack. OHIP stands for Ontario Health Insurance Plan, but I don't care. It doesn't matter because that's not where I get the numbers to give to my CPA. All I need is the P&L for that. Gary to Ryan, in the States, the employer covers all insurance, which runs up to $20,000 a year. You are covered by public health, as I understand it, in Canada. So you do not want our coverage and would want the 20K added. Want the 20K added to your pay if you weren't getting the public health. Oh, I see where you're at with that.
So instead of getting a quote a Blue Cross card or Cigna Health, you say, give me 20K more and keep the money. But it's paying for 1 or 2 or 5 people.
All right. $500 US is
we used an accountant, and it was worth the money to have it done. Our return was sent to us in 17 days.
And a quick aside with the thing with the tax people, I think TurboTax and H&R got in trouble with their free offer of tax online.
Yeah.
Because it ended up not being totally free. In other words, you don't get something for nothing.
Yeah.
They tried to say, well, if you go to our paid version, you'll get an extra $50 back.
Oh. So you get that extra $50 back, so which is going to be more than the paid version would cost you. So everybody winds up paying it. Is that what's going on?
Basically, I just read it, has nothing. I have no firsthand knowledge, but they have H&R and I think TurboTax had a free online version.
Yeah.
And, you're lower income, you have no deductions. You could be higher income, you go, oh, okay, make 40 grand and have a house and that's it. Maybe an apartment, pay rent, that's it. And there you go. But they say, hey, you can take off the $250 to Goodwill or, whatever. And I guess the government said that's not true in the U.S.
Oh.
We have weird earned income credits, yada, yada, yada. The state in Michigan has earned income credits on top of that. We don't want to go into taxes. We could be here for a year.
Here's Sam's comment. I was looking at bare bones mini PC as I can get Samsung SID like compared to some generic SSDs. I could see where you might pencil it out to where it's worth it to you, depending upon your full price workload. If you have time on your hands where you don't mind not specifically charging for the time that you're spending doing that, then you may come out, it might be more attractive. But I think a lot of people who do that, who build the computers that way, aren't taking into account the amount of time in total that they spend pursuing that. Because you got to look at, when you go to pick what parts, your time looking at what's currently available, that should be productive, earnable time.
Yep.
All right.
True that.
John says
I'll do more research.
Yeah. John says we use now if you were doing bulk, if you were doing the shopping and buying a quantity of parts and you were kicking them out, then you got a Lucille Ball thing going on there. You can lose money on each one, but make it up on volume. But no, I mean that
Only one.
facetiously. You could make that work out if you, particularly if you had a source where you had somebody buying 20 computers from you at a time. But then you're spending a lot of your time doing that work too.
Nowadays, for a company to compete with building computers, I mean, I think you said your brother, Doug, worked with Dell, or was it HP?
Yeah, Dell.
I mean, you can't compete the next day type of thing. It does their next day, sometimes same day. And if I call you for hardware, if I call you and say my graphics card's not working, you know, you got to, Dell's here tomorrow, and it's hard for you personally to compete on a $500 machine.
Now, I actually started my business building computers, and that was, let's see, 1992, self-employed. A few years before that, working for another company, and we built computers there. So as part of what we did. So when I started my business, I was building computers for my clients, and I, at that point in time, I felt that I was making okay because the computers were very simple. I'm not even sure that we had fans on the CPUs back then. I don't.
That was the slot cards, quite possibly.
Say again?
That was the slot 486s and whatnot back then.
486s, 386s. Yeah.
Well, we had 4 computer stores, my wife and I. I mean, she quit corporate and we had our own company starting in 81 because of the baby. She took our son to work every day. And we had a thing here called computer shows. Like the VFW thing, we supplied, that was one of the things we imported a ton of the Diamond, the Stealth, and all those graphic cards that were in plastic bags. We sold those to all the dealers.
Okay.
So you guys bought from us quite possibly to build the computers.
Well, let me get back to finish my story. We had a local person who was selling parts, and I buy from him. I drive over there and pick them up from him. So the reason why I stopped doing that is because I had too much time spent going back to fix something that wasn't working right, some part that wasn't working right, or something was going wrong with the computer. I didn't know if it's hardware or software problems. So I was just losing too much time in warrantying the computers. So then I turned to buying computers, and I was buying from Maricel, and I think it was called CDW, something like that. There were 2 companies I did most of the purchasing from, and they would be shipped to me. There was no Amazon back then.
Comdata would do that also.
Say again?
Comdata.
I remember Tech Data and Maricel. Those were 2 that I bought from mostly.
You know, we would get back from you guys like you, and I don't mean that as an insult, but there'd be bent pens because you're one of your employees at the pen.
Sure.
And I'll be honest, we'd have a high school student who'd go through on weekends. They would take a slot from the back of a computer case from the computer. Well, they still have them today. I don't do desktops, but they take the slot, bend the pens right, put it in a machine. If it tests out, we'd sell it as a discount to you next time.
Wow.
I mean, and warranty it through you. If it didn't work, we'd give you another one. But half the time you just didn't unbend the pen. You know, we want a new one. And it's like, I mean, come in those little blue trays. We have tons of those. We got all the hard drives wrapped. We even went back to the 5 1/4 full height hard drives. That's how far I go back. I remember 10 meg hard drives.
Let's say they're ESDI drives, I think, and MFM.
You got to go into debug to set to bad sectors.
Right. Type them in manually from a label that came on the drive.
Now your SSD does that automatically.
Yeah.
Think of SpinRite, except it's built into the SSD now.
All right. Well, I think that I'm ready to call this a wrap. We're fairly up to date with everything. I'm not going to hit the last few messages, although I've read them.
ST506.
ST506. That would be Seagate, isn't it?
It's an interface, actually.
Interface? Yeah, I don't quite recognize it. Okay, but anyway, those of you on Zoom, I'd like you to go ahead and say goodbye to the audience, please.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.
Dave.
Good day.
And shut down Zoom. Oh, he's got his star stuff going. Go ahead and hit him again. Yeah, there you go.
Fireworks, but yeah.
All right, fireworks. Right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone who's watching, have a great weekend. Have a great Saturday. Have a great Sunday. Have a great life. What the heck? Go for it all. All right. Clicking the button.